All right, everybody, welcome to the call today on GeoFarm and Circle Prospecting Mastery. Going to be a good call today. And I'm going to start off the call because I always forget to talk about this. And I just saw this video in the mastermind group, and that is talking about yard signs for you listing agents. So if you don't have a listing, this wouldn't be appropriate, but pay attention, because when you do get a listing, so many agents absolutely fall apart on this. And so I'm going to show this video, and then I'm going to show you a couple of images, and then I'm going to get into the accounts and show you how to do this. So let me click on this. We're going to let it play, and I'll turn the volume up, so hopefully you can hear the video.
Hey guys, this is what my signs look like lately. I took this sign frame home and pressure washed it and painted it glossy black to contrast the white. Anyway, I've got these solar powered lights on the top. These were like $40 on Amazon. Got my space for 2 sign writers, of course, which I always use. I think it looks bad to have empty sign writers. It just looks not good. Anyway, I've got these hyperlinks, certain QR codes on both sides. So I'm using listings to leads, and they create basically a single property website, which encourages the scanner, if you will, the home buyer, to scan this, and then they encourage them to drop their email and subscribe to follow for rate or price drops, stuff like that. But anyway, I print these out with my own printer, and then I use a self laminator. So it's literally just a sheet you just peel open and put it in and close it, essentially. And then I'm using Velcro on the back to attach these. That way I could change it out for the next listing. But I thought y'all might like, so I just thought I would share while we're at it. This is my office.
So that is so good. I'm going to show you a couple of other examples here. Here is a client. This is from a client, and sign writer on the top. So the status. So you should have, and I've got them all, coming soon if you use that, just listed, active, open house, but also you want to use pending could be the best one. So the first item is the status writer. Number 2 is, oh, Jared, I was going to comment on that, but I couldn't figure out how to comment on that video to let you know I was going to use it. So yeah, Jared, great job on that. Number 2, you see there's a light. Daylight savings is going to end soon. Can you imagine walking into a listing presentation and showing the homeowner how you use lights? Maybe you've taken a picture of it at night, showing that your sign writers are lit up so people can actually see it. They can text it, they can scan it, and then maybe show another one that's all in the dark that you can't even see whose it is, right? You won't even be able to see it because they don't have a light. You're gonna win more listing presentations, in addition to all the other stuff with listings to leads giving you, to absolutely dominate this stuff. And the best thing is, we surveyed clients, it's been about a year and a half now, but I believe over 50% said that that they can attribute listings and buyers from doing this. So 1, get the status on top, because every time you change that status from just listed to active, from active to open house to pending, it reinvigorates everyone looking at it, and they go, oh, something just changed on it, especially the neighbors. So this is why I'm talking about this in a GeoFarm setting. So the neighbors are walking by. I'm going to show you where to get these sign writers here. You saw Jared he printed up, used a QR code with the Velcro and this. Awesome, whatever. Either way is fine. We do have sign writers like this number 3 here that have the text code. So either way will work. And then number 4, get a flyer box. Get a flyer box and put that on the yard sign. And Dustin Fox's The 6 Weeks to Real Estate Success, the flyer box is one of the things that he literally talks about specifically. It may seem goofy. It may seem old school. It may seem anachronistic and lame, but when people are walking the dog, they're walking for their exercise, and they see the status, maybe, like I said, daylight savings is ending soon. Get those lights. This is an investment where those lights are going to last for at least a year, maybe longer. In fact, there's a link to this one on the support page, which I'll show you. And then give people the option to either send a text, a QR code is great, or I should say, and get that flyer box in there. So let me show you just one more image, because this one is even better. When the listing goes pending, get a pending sign writer or the status writer and get that up on top. Get the pending flyers into the flyer box, because again, the neighbors, people driving by are going to see that, and it's going to motivate them to either text, scan the QR code, or take a flyer. So I would highly recommend this. Jared says he loves, Jared, maybe later if you can drop a link in there in the mastermind group, that would be absolutely awesome. Right? Yeah, QR codes, especially after COVID, I think everybody knows what a QR code is. We've been doing QR codes for, I think 10 years. And in the very beginning, right, just like buying homes with cryptocurrency, right? Everybody thought that was a fad, or the buying real estate in the metaverse. And holy crap, how much time do we waste on complete BS that people love to hype to sell their courses? So much waste in real estate marketing. It's unbelievable. But the point is, the pending, do not forget about the pending. So let's go. Let me show you in listings to leads how to deal with all of this. So first of all, you can sign up for the text and IVR service. This way, every listing will get an automated text code assigned to it. So there's a 5-digit text code for the US. There's a 10-digit text code for Canada and outside the US, so you can use both. And then there's also, and I don't talk about this a lot, but I'll show it to you here in a minute. There is a text code option to offer home values, right? So under landing page extension, and I'll show that to you in a minute here. So once I sign up for text IVR, all my listings will get a property ID attached to it. It is transferable and will stay in your account, so you can get sign writers built and just move the sign writer, text 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to 2, 5, 6, 7, 8. You can move that text writer or sign writer from listing to listing as you need to. You get a property ID, get your sign writers built. Let me show you here. I got a listing. And if I go down to sign writers, you'll see we got a bunch of different options. Text with QR code, text only. These will be to your brand colors, and you can also change them. And you can also obviously download and print these locally, or you can just give the text code and the QR code to your local printer and have them do it for you. It doesn't really matter. But look over here, get your home's value. This one, if anybody wants to text it an hour later, will actually kick off a conversation. And God, this could be a service by itself that people would pay for. And in listings to leads, very few people even know about it. But this would be a great sign writer to put on when it goes pending. If you use the one on the left, that still works for pending listings, because we do automatically change the call to action to seller lead capture once that listing goes pending. That's why you want to get the pending status writer on the top and get the pending flyers in the box, because all of that lead capture changes to seller lead. And when the neighbors are walking by, walking their dogs, walking their cats, walking the ducks, doing their exercise, they're going to see it because you got the light. They're going to be able to send a text. They're going to be able to scan the QR code, and they're going to be able to grab a flyer. So let me show you the listing flyers and talk you into why these are so great and why I think you should be using these and not from another service. So I downloaded the flyer. And so again, QR code, price on the top, text code right here, information about needing to sell before you buy, your signature at the bottom. Woo, that's a beautiful looking flyer. 1, 2, 4 of these 5 images are from AI. One of them is an actual home. But yeah, all 4 of these images down here were created on XAI. They're Grok tool. Absolutely beautiful. But anyway, you can see here, we got a number of different flyer templates. And to my point about when the listing goes pending. So check this out. Here's my listing that's pending, market listing, right? So again, and again, if you want to use the sign writer that was there when you were first, so Jared, for example, that QR code that Jared had on his on his yard sign, that would still be appropriate for when his listing goes into contract. And Jared, I would say, get from your MLS or association shop will have these status writers. Get the pending on that when that thing goes into contract. Because usually when it sells, you miss the opportunity because the sign's going to be taken down. So with that pending status that you really want to hit this on. So make sure you're doing that. And then again, let me show you the listing flyers. Again, when the listing goes pending, the flyer is going to say pending. And so you want to make sure, right, pending, you can scan the QR code and you'll notice that lead capture is now going after seller leads. Again, all the beautiful flyer. And again, there's like what, 10, 15, 20 different templates, all to your brand colors, even some with one image, some that don't show the price, right? All sorts of beautiful flyers that help engage people back to you. So I think we're good on the sign writers. So again, status writer on the top, those are usually like $5 to $10 at your local association. The text to part of the sign writer, that again is transferable from listing to listing. So these are all like one-time buys. And then you got the light and then the flyer box. So highly recommend that. Again, use that in the listing presentation to show the seller what you do is turn the yard sign, not into just some like little sad billboard that's about 3 years old and dog-eared looking, but you've got a beautiful, functional marketing piece in their yard that is going to help engage both buyers and sellers 24/7 if you've got the lights. If you don't want to be going up against somebody that is, because it's going to make them look fabulous to that homeowner. So any questions on any of this? So again, for you listing agents, get on that and get that done. Let me know if you have any questions on it. So let's talk about, I'm going to go to the presentation here just for a quick couple of minutes. I'm going to keep it short. And what I want to do is I want to just come down, because in Dustin's book, the six weeks to real estate success, Dustin Fox, it's on Amazon. Go check it out. In his chapter in open houses, the second line starts off with something to the effect of, we generated 2.3 transactions per listing, marketed listings to leads. And then he launches into how he uses the nearby homeowner letter. The nearby homeowner letter with an open house, pending or sold listing, yours or borrowed, is one of the best ways to generate listings in your farm area. GeoFarming with a circle prospecting strategy or tactic is the way to get into a farm and forget about all these people that God, you go on YouTube, right? Look up geofarming on YouTube and you're going to find everyone talking about how it's going to take a year. It's going to take 3 generations and, $500,000 to be able to get your farm to start producing. And it starts freaking you out. And I'm thinking like, holy crap, like how in the hell am I going to do this? I have 3 generations and $500,000 to invest in a farm to get this thing produced. I need this thing to produce in like 4 to 8 weeks max. How about 2 to 3 weeks? And that would be by circle prospecting your farm with an open house pending or sold listing. We've gone into like how to identify a farm, make sure there's enough homes. You got your turnover, right? We've got videos on that. We can cover that a little bit later if we need to. But once you've got your farm identified, you want to make sure as much as possible that you are marketing in a circle prospecting like tactic into that farm at least once a month. And I'm telling you, Dustin Fox was doing it about once a week. All right. If you watch Alex Hormozi, one thing I love about Alex Hormozi is he talks about how it's typically you're not putting enough effort and inputs through the process or through the system for the results to come out the way you think, especially in the beginning for you people that are still trying to get your business up and running and get it to a point where it's smooth. You may not think this, but you got to work 300 to 400% in the beginning to get that rock up the hill so that it starts rolling down to the other side. That's just entrepreneurship. And that's what we all are as real estate agents. So you can, right? There are people that do open houses multiple times a week. So there's really no excuse not to be able to do an open house, no matter what market you're in, because if you use the open house marketing tool checklist, you're going to get a lot of leads and you're going to get a lot of people to your open house. If you use the open house mastery training, which I'm going to walk through here in a little bit, you're going to convert a lot more of those people into listings and buyers. If you don't have an open house, going after pending and sold works great as well in your GeoFarm. So every listing, whether it's yours or borrowed, has the nearby homeowner letter. And again, we're going to get to that here in a few minutes. I do want to show you all the landing pages and all the PDF guides. There's 40 plus PDF guides for homeowners and home sellers. They all have flyers, postcards, and door hangers as well. So there's a lot of great tools in listings to use, in listings to leads to use in your farm in a circle prospecting environment. And even just as a farming thing, because for example, the free home values landing page, right? What is your home worth? That's got the postcards and the door hangers. The iBuyer, right? The iBuyer cash offer landing page that has the postcard, the door hanger, and the flyer as well. So there's a lot of great things that you can use. But typically when you're doing a circle prospecting event in your farm, it's going to have 2 to 3 to 4x the results versus your standard farming tactics that people like to do. So it's all about action, right? Action is not sending out a postcard. It is, right? Action, when I talk about action, your physical body is in the location and you are physically interacting with people, right? We're going to do the ad. We're going to do the post. We're going to do all this stuff to market and get people there. But at the end of the day, it is our physical body at that open house, meeting people in the way that I'm going to talk about, that is going to get you business. And again, I think Dustin Fox was doing, in fact, in his book, he talks about doing 3-day open houses. So this guy went from being him, then him and his wife, to now being a team leader of 24 agents doing millions and millions of dollars. He started off doing 3-day open houses, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Would use the nearby homeowner letter to invite all the neighbors to the open house. He turned the open house into an event so that the neighbors wanted to come to it. And he was able to engage them at a much deeper level because of it and got a lot more listings. So and you can do this even if it's not your listing. Everything I'm going to show you right now can be done with a listing that is not even yours. So let's get to it. I want you to do an open house, yours or borrowed. If you want to pick up Dustin's book, go to Amazon, type in 6 weeks to agent success. In fact, let me just bring it up. Amazon. Man, I'm spending 6 weeks to agent success. The other book I highly recommend is the one by Cohen. Oh my God, what's his name? The Listing Agent. Man, anybody know the book I'm talking about? What's that Cohen book? Jared, about the pending side. Yep. 6 weeks. Jared says it's a great book. Yep. Says best book ever. $10 digital right there. I had the paperback. I even had to buy it. The dude uses listings to leads and I had to go buy my own book. That's fine. Actually, he may have sent that to me. Actually, now that I think about it, I think Dustin may have sent that to me. It doesn't even matter. It's a great book. And so is the other one. Oh my God, let me just see if I can find that one too. I apologize, but seriously, these 2 books, COA's Cohen listing. Yeah, let's see if this will bring it up. Yes, there you go. Jordan Cohen. This book right here, the beautiful thing about this book is he's not selling anything. So it's just a beautiful book. When I started in real estate, I was at Sotheby's. I was at Coldwell Banker. Then I went to Sotheby's. But I worked for one of the top agents in San Francisco, like literally top 10 agent in San Francisco for 20 years. And I was his assistant in the beginning. And everything he taught me about real estate, Jordan actually has the same philosophy about how you're not a real estate agent. You are an agent to a multi-million-dollar player, which is the home. And it is your job to represent them in the best light possible to get them the best contract ever had in their sport, i.e. your farm area. Make sense? So the home is Michael Jordan. You are whoever Michael Jordan's agent was. Your job is not to just throw up, his stats and let people bid. Your job is to get that person the best contract possible. And in this case, it's a home. Highly recommend this book as well. So if you got just 2 books related to real estate, this one is great. And so is the other one there. So with that said, let's get back into it. So I want you to do an open house and add the listing, set the open house. If you need help with that, get with our support team. I want to focus on 2 aspects. One is very quick overview on marketing the open house, but then I want to spend more time at the mastery part of it, which is how do I turn that open house into an event that I'm going to walk away from seller leads and buyer leads, like good ones, not just names and phone numbers. So obviously first we got the Facebook and Instagram ad. These leads come in typically between $2 to $4 each. They will be a Facebook lead ad by default. All you have to do is confirm the location. Everything else is taken care of. It's all editable, but I recommend just get it live. You don't need to spend a lot of time on this ad. We've done all the back end work for you to make sure it is maximized for good leads. So we got the interest, we got all the settings. And what the ad will look like once it's up is this. So let me just show you what the ad looks like so you can understand. And it literally took me 15 seconds. There was nothing secret there. I did all the budget goes right to that ad. So here's my open house in Granite Bay, right? Boom, boom, beautiful. We got a lot of different templates you can use. And it's a lead ad. So it's going to say, what's your time frame to buy? I'll say 3 to 6 months. Name, email, phone number, continue. And then from here, it's going to drop me right on the single property website. And the beautiful thing about that is, and Jared he didn't allude to it. He said it. When people get here, there's so much opportunity to engage. All right. You can add your 3D tours. You can add property videos. You can add client review videos. They can download your 100-point home marketing plan. They get a home value, download the different PDF guides. Yeah. I need to add, in one of my other listings, I've got a 3D tour in there and I got a property video. This is going to get us the leads quick. You got the social media post that will probably happen automatically. We don't need to spend time on that, right? Because again, I want to focus more on the farm stuff, but I want to just set it up for you. The share and seller, make sure to do that. Oh my God, I talked to 2 people this week who never used this. And when they actually saw it, they about died because they're like, oh my God, I can't believe I've not used this. And Dustin told me, I don't mean to, I got to find other people to talk about. But Dustin told me, he goes, I never used this until a seller came to me and said, do you have something I can put on my Facebook page? And he's like, I remember listings leads had that. So I went in, I sent it to my seller, got a listing because this was on the seller's page and the seller's friends clicked it, became a lead. And I'm sure people get deals from this all the time. Right? Because it looks just like this on the seller's page. The seller's friends are going to comment. They're going to like it, right? They're going to get to know you. And then they go to the single property website. Again, we already looked through that. There's so many great ways for them to engage. So again, for you listing agents, make sure to click send to seller, confirm or add the emails, add the salutation, click send, get that to the seller to share. There's an e-flyer as well. I would do both at the same time. And then just real quickly, you just call the seller up and say, hey, we got the open house, or the listing is coming soon, or the listing just went pending and we're still marketing the property. We did a Facebook ad, it's on Zillow, and I wanted to send you something because you likely know people who know people looking to buy in the area, and we don't want to leave any stones unturned. If you can put that on your Facebook page and share the email, that would be great. And sellers love it. You think instinctively they wouldn't, they do, because professional photos, especially, their home's going to look great. They're going to understand you're doing a lot of great marketing for them and that we don't want to leave any stones unturned in this crazy market. But here's the kicker right here, the nearby homeowner letter. So here is what Dustin did and what other people do. And now let me just say real quickly, there are people that don't do anything and just use it as default and will door knock 100 homes or mail it to 100 homes and have great success with it. But what I like about what Dustin did, because it jives with the training that we do anyways, is remember I said he would do a 3-day open house? So he would come here and he would do a catered open house. So hold your thought on that one, because we're going to get to that in the mastery part of this in about 10 minutes or less. But he would edit this letter. And let me just show you one more time. So we're on nearby homeowner letter. There's 3 different versions. And one of them says edit right here underneath. So I'm going to click edit. And he would say, he would click inside the letter, a catered open house. In fact, he would go, so neighbors only. And let's say the open house, like the public open house, is Saturday 1 to 4 or Sunday 2 to 4. It doesn't matter. Whatever it is what it is. He would come in here. Now, sometimes he would just let it go to the open house and he wouldn't say neighbors only, but he would say catered open house. But if you wanted to do a neighbors only open house, maybe the neighbors only, or the neighbor preview is Friday from 6 to 8 p.m. Everything else is fine. Download PDF or JPEG. I'm going to download PDF. If you're not sure which version, just do PDF. Doesn't really matter. All right. So real quickly, let me just show you something. You see how that first line is so long? No problem. For me, because I'm a little bit anal, is I'm going to come in here and I'm just going to move a couple of the words to the second line so it's a little bit more balanced. I know I'm not psychotic, but I am nitpicky. I guess that's a better word. So now you see that looks so much better, right? Better balance. So again, download PDFs. And there we go. Beautiful flyer. And this is now my invitation to all the neighbors to come by the open house. If you've got the ability to door knock, right, a couple hours before the open house or the day before, that's what I would do, because now you are inviting the neighbors to a catered open house, and it's going to be an event. I just want you, in your mind, when you think neighbors only catered open house or open house, I want you to start thinking, and we're going to cover this, I want you to start thinking as if you walked into a pop-up boutique that when you walked in, you felt like you wanted to hang out there for a little while. It's a cool little boutique or store. I don't care, whatever it is that you're into, they sell it. If you're into clothes or you're into tools or motorcycles, right? Whatever it is that you like, and you walk into that store, and this is like and all of a sudden you're like, I want to stay in here for a little while and hang out. That's what your open house is going to be. That's what Dustin did. That's what other clients have done. And that's what our training is going to show you here in a few minutes. But we got to get people there, and we want these people. All right. I want the neighbors. So how can I get the neighbors to the open house? I can invite them, right? So I could mail this to all the neighbors if I wanted to. So if you got enough lead time and you plan it out, you could mail it. You could just drop it off. So I could literally just take it and drop it off in the door and run away and not talk to them. Or I could go by like maybe 6 o'clock in the evening, like a day or two beforehand, and knock on the door and invite them to the neighbors only preview or to the open house on Saturday that's going to be catered. Would love to have you come by. They'll have all the information about the open house. They have the URL. They can scan the QR code. They can even send a text. A little bit of information about when the home is sold. It's going to affect their home value. That is another little kick to get them to the open house, right? Because when they go, oh crap, oh my God, when that house sells, we better go check it out. We want them to do it in this context because we want to have the highest opportunity to engage them. Now, you don't have to do an open house. Every listing at every status has the letter. Our client, in fact, let me show you here under success stories. In the lower left there, there's a little tab called success stories. And if you open it up, Corey 13 listings using that letter for mostly just sold, but he also does just listed as well. So he just does just sold, does great. Bernadette here, she was door knocking, in fact, she got 2 listings because she got a listing from somebody and then their friend who also is in the area, she listed their house as well. In fact, I think right there, it talks about it. First listing after only, well, that's from Facebook Marketplace. So yeah, there's a lot of cool stories here that are pretty good for you. But that letter will work at any status. But at open house is where you can really create this event so that you're face to face with these people. So now how do we create an event? And real quick, we do have postcards and door hangers. So again, coming soon, just listed, open house, pending, sold. Beautiful. If you use any of the direct mail and even email, but we'll get to that in a second, we've got a script. So right here, you're going to see there's a great script that you can use to call the people that either got the letter, postcard, or door hanger if you got their phone numbers. And real quickly, because I want to get back into the GeoFarm stuff. We got the e-flyer for your database. Make sure you use this because this is so much better than the e-flyer you're getting from your IDX or Canva or whatever. This dynamically links to the single property website for that status. And then it's got information about the fact that when the home is sold, their home value is going to change. And then it's got your listings to lead signature at the bottom. This is designed to help pull out buyers, but also, and in particular, buyers that have a home to sell, that need to sell, right, along with buying. So the e-flyers you're using right now don't do that. Ours do, and they are automatically linking to those tools. And again, your e-flyer is not. Your e-flyer that you're using from some other service is either, when you click the image, it's very sad because the image just pops up and it's a dead end, or you're linking to an IDX page, which is low rent, or you're linking to your broker website, or Zillow, which is even worse. So use our e-flyers. And what I always recommend is call your top 5 leads. So when you look at your database right now, call your top 5 after you send this e-flyer, call the top 5 leads in your database, right? Whether it's a buyer lead for an open house, a seller lead for a pending e-flyer, but use the script to call them. And then also call the people that open the email, but you don't say anything about the fact that they opened the email. Just call them up, use the script. You'll get more listings, you'll get more buyers. And then just keep going down, right? Short form video script. Oh my God, had a client I was talking to yesterday in Krista Mayshore's training about video. And I said, okay, well, that's great. You must be using all the videos and listings to leads. And she was like, what are you talking about? Didn't even know that every listing at every status and all the PDF guides, all the landing pages, they've all got video scripts. And we had a client, I was talking to him a few months ago at this point, who 60-plus-year-old guy started using our scripts on a daily basis after looking at them for a few months. And he said, I went from nothing to 10,000 views on some videos and up to 15,000 views on my highest performing videos. I was like, dude, you're killing me. I'm like, what's the secret? He goes, the secret is doing it. I was looking at it for so long, and he goes, I knew there'd be a good thing to do. And he goes, I just started doing them. And here's another thing. I got to talk to somebody else about this. But again, Dustin Fox, he did recently a challenge to his team for 30 video, or I think it was like 30 videos in 30 days or something, right? Because now he's got 20 plus agents on his team. And I don't know the exact numbers, but I do know that he said that most of them, it's not all of them, but most of them for sure, showed dramatic improvement on audience numbers and engagement after 30 days. That's how fast this is. You could be sitting here by Thanksgiving, absolutely stoked that you've doubled your social media audience and engagement if you just start using the scripts that we give you. So I don't care. It doesn't have to be an open house. It could be a just listed. It could be active. It doesn't have to be your listing. This could be somebody else's listing that you're holding open, and you're still going to do the script. So get all that done. So now you've marketed the open house. We got leads coming in. We're going to have people coming to the open house. It's going to be awesome. We're going to do a neighbors only on Friday or Saturday. That's just for the neighbors. We're going to invite those neighbors because we're serious professionals. We're not going to cry or make excuses about why we can't do something when other people are doing it. So there you go. Other people are doing this and they're having massive success doing this, what I'm telling you. So when you come into training, presentations, open house mastery, this is the juice that is going to take all those leads that you are generating and help turning them into lifelong clients. So you know how to access this. If you're a trainer, if you're a coach, if you're a broker or a lender, this would be a fabulous presentation to go over with your people. You can look at it right in here, which is fine. You can even download it, but I think you lose some of the transitions. I'm going to click Google Slides. It'll just open up into yours, right? So you won't see all my stuff. You'll have your stuff. You'll see the presentation. And let's go to slideshow. And this right here, you got access to this in your account. So you don't need to memorize anything, but if you want to take notes, I would. I'm going to do a quickish, medium pace on this, but do stop me if you have any questions, because this right here will change your business if you do it. So this was based on 10 plus years of working with our clients. I probably spent a month doing research online on YouTube, right? All sorts of different places. And then I took all of our experience, everything I could find as far as best practices across the internet. And it is this right here. You will not find, I don't think, a better strategy for converting at an open house. So real quickly, a few things here. It works for a listing that's yours or borrowed. You should repeat weekly for best results. This is completely sustainable, repeatable, and scalable in the sense of you can do it every week, right? Not scalable in the sense of you can do 100 of them, but it is scalable in the sense of you can increase your ad budget over time as you get more successful. You can send out more letters over time if it becomes successful. Start where you are, but just understand the idea is we can build on this for even greater success over time, just like our other clients have. You should generate between 24 and 140 leads using the Listings to Leads marketing playbook. And what we're looking to do here is convert these leads fast. Real quickly here, what we're going to try to do is create an unforgettable experience that adds value in a friendly way. Now, let me just say something. If you have never done something like this, you may not realize the power of making people feel special, the power of making people feel a little bit different than everybody else has. And so when people are walking through an open house, it's usually there's an agent, they may be standing in the kitchen, probably holding some papers in their hand. They're walking through and they just say, "Hi, what brought you in today?" When I walk into the open house, it's not great. It's not great. We're trying to change that. And if you've never really been a part of something like that, you may not appreciate the power of it. If you haven't done anything like this in the past, just understand until you actually do this and start doing it, you don't even understand how powerful this actually is. With that said, we're going to create an experience that buyers and sellers will not forget. We're going to create conversations that lead to more closings, position you as the go-to agent, and create more listing opportunities. So one of the things I love with Jared, I was talking to Jared James a while back, and this first ad's nothing earth shattering. We all know this. The first agent that people talk to and have a good conversation with, 72% of the time, they're going to get the business. Now, I don't know how we got to the 2 part, but 3/4 is a nice round number for that. This is what we're going to be trying to do. We're going to try to get more face-to-face conversations with the neighbors, with buyers, with other people coming through the open house that may have a home to sell after they buy a home in the area that they're looking. If you want more clients, do more open houses. Put yourself in a position to have those conversations. And this right here, I love. Visibility trumps ability. But more importantly, in this market, visibility is your responsibility. There's really no better way of visibility than doing an open house. Now, doing a client event is great, but that's not repeatable for too often, right? Once a quarter, once a year, we can do client events. You could do an open house twice a week. You literally could. You could do you could do 3 open houses. There are people that do 5+ open houses that are top producers every week. So I can't do an open house is really not an option. So real quickly, talking about picking the open house. So even if you've got listings, this may be relevant to you. Don't feel like you have to be a slave or a hostage to your listing in the sense of open houses. So if you've got, for example, let's say you've got a listing and it's a 1-bedroom studio in a building that or in a neighborhood that you really don't like, or really, that's not a great way to phrase it, that you're not looking to spend money on to get more listings in that area. So then don't do it. Even if it's your listing, go find another listing to hold open. So do an area where you want to generate buyer and seller leads. Do it for a home an average price point. So don't go too high luxury thinking, oh, this is going to be phenomenal. Go to the mid-market, i.e. where are most of the transactions happening and that are in your farm. And lastly, don't do it in a building where you need security to check people in or things like that, right? Make sure it's an easy place to get to. Related to borrow a listing, if you're not sure how to ask to hold an open house, talk to your broker or team leader. They want to help you succeed. They're going to help you get to find a listing to hold open, and maybe they've got a listing that you can hold open that fits your buyer seller profile. Because they are. They're going to be impressed that you're looking to grow your business, which is absolutely awesome. And if you do hold an open house for another agent, make sure they add it to the MLS and Zillow and all that like they normally would. Right? One time I remember doing an open house and the agent didn't do anything. And this was before the internet. And so nobody showed up. I was like, wow. I was like, that's so, like, what the hell happened? And then I find out later, they didn't even add it to the MLS. And because we didn't have the internet back then, right? It was like a complete waste of an afternoon. Very awful. But anyways, generating the leads, right? Marketing the listing. We already reviewed that. I'm sorry, let me go back to that. So that's the market listing in your listings to leads account. We literally just went through that list. It should look familiar, right? At this point. And so just again, the ads, the post, we talked about sharing it to the seller's social media and their email. We reviewed the nearby homeowner letter, postcards, door hangers, right? Get that text writer on there, get the listing flyers in the flyer box, get the e-flyer to your database, right? And you're going to do most of the stuff, even if it's not your listing. Pretty much the only thing you're not going to do if it's not your listing is send the stuff to the seller. Right. And lastly, here you can see we have an open house sign-in form. This is getting a massive design update. Woo, it looks so good. I can't wait for y'all to see it. Real quickly, here we go. Open house neighborhood exclusive. So 1 to 3 days before the public open house, I don't know that you can do the the neighborhood exclusive if you're a showing agent. You might be able to if you have a good relationship with that agent. They may not want you to, but required. Use the neighborhood homeowner letter and circle prospect to that for the quality listing leads. And here's a great script, right? So again, in this presentation, we're giving you the script. We're giving you everything. If you just follow this presentation, you're going to do amazing. Quick little script here to invite people to the neighborhood preview, right? The neighborhood exclusive. But we're just nice and easy. Right, introducing ourselves, letting them know that there's a neighbors only open house, right, at the property on Thursday from 6 to 8 or whenever it is. And you're going to have food and drinks. We'd love to have them come by. So great little script tease there. Make sure to have the owner promote it on Nextdoor. And if there's any private Facebook groups, just tell them hey, can you put the information for the open house in there? It would be the same social media post for their Facebook page. Just ask them, for the open house, can you put that on Nextdoor to let everybody know about the open house? Is there a private Facebook group for your neighborhood that you could put that in as well? But, make sure because the neighbors, are probably not even paying attention, especially if you don't have a good yard sign, they're not paying attention. But if they see it on when I mean pay attention, they're not looking at Zillow, they're not looking at realtor.com because they're not actively thinking about selling yet, but it is in the back of their minds. So if you put it on Nextdoor and in those private Facebook groups, the seller, not you, you'll catch more people before they go to Zillow, realtor.com, and what have you. So don't forget, again, Nextdoor and any kind of private Facebook or other social media group. Invite your top 50 database leads. All right, so whether they're buyer leads or seller leads or just in general, you got the e-flyer to the database that's going out, at least try to start calling your top 10. Maybe 50 seems a little bit much to you. Maybe you don't have the process in place to do that. And maybe your database is so unorganized, you have no idea who your top 10 leads are. Then just the first 10 you find, even if they're in your phone, even if your database is so ridiculous that it's really your phone, just pick 10 people in your phone and call them up with the script to invite them to this open house. This is how you're going to get people to understand you're a professional real estate agent, that you're somebody that they can talk to. You're not there to waste their time because you're not, the scripts never go into like all these open-ended questions. What they are is we're letting them know about something going on and to get them to, in this case, to the open house so we can talk to them more. Now, maybe they won't even go to the open house, but if they're thinking about buying or selling, because we actually called them up and we sent them the email for the invite, more likely to do business with us, especially if you just keep doing this on a consistent basis. Now, here's where we get into the good stuff. People do business with who they know, like, and trust. First impression matters. And you want to get to the shortest path possible. I said earlier in this call, I don't have time or money to wait 8 months and spend $500,000 to get my farm to produce an ROI. I need it to happen fast. So that's what we're doing here. Now, this open house is going to over deliver on knowledge, value, and professionalism. First thing is, you're going to prepare handouts for your open house, yours or borrowed. You're going to use the listing flyer. So we saw that a little earlier. You're going to do a neighborhood guide using ChatGPT. In fact, I believe I got the prompt somewhere here. Open house feedback form, whether the online or the print version. Have a pen. So go to the dollar store or go to off Amazon and buy one of those 100 packs for $15 or buy 20 for $5 or $6, but have pens available. And also print out other open houses in the area and have clipboards so that you can hand the clipboard to people coming into the open house. Now, make sure to collect the clipboards. Maybe you hand them the clipboard and say, on the way out, if you could drop that here, that would be phenomenal. Again, listing flyer, neighborhood summary, open house feedback form, now, if they're going to sign in on an iPad or laptop or whatever, then you don't need to include that. But if it's a paper version, then include it. And then obviously, like I said, a pen and then other open houses. Here, learn. Yep. Okay. Yep. So learn about the neighborhood and know about any other listing in the area. Because we want to make sure that when people are coming through, they probably know, especially if it's a neighbor, they're going to know what listings are pending or what listings are sold. Even if you have on a printout, so maybe you can't memorize everything, right? There's a lot going on. At least have a printout for yourself that you keep on you so that you can reference, here are all the open houses, here are all the active listings in the area, here are all the pendings, here are all the solds. And I tell you, if you're a good agent and you got some experience and you know about any pocket listings or possible listings coming soon, maybe you don't want to give the address, but you might want to let people know that there are a few other listings that haven't yet hit the market that we're expecting to come on soon. Would you like to be added to my VIP list so that I can let you know about them as soon as they are available? And if I can, I'll try to let you know about them actually before the public does. What a great way to get people into your system. Creating a welcoming atmosphere with energy. Do not underestimate this. Do not think that this is somehow fluff. All right. This is not fluff. This is what separates the people that are creating an experience that are going to get people to hang out, have a conversation, let their guard down, be more open to talking to you versus the people that are not going to do this. And you're going to have people just running out of the open house like normal. So there's two groups of people, the people that get this and understand it and see the power of it to their business, and everybody else that doesn't. So, and don't laugh and don't think it's the trope. Flags or balloons, either or. And again, Dustin talks about that in his book. He does it for every open house. You want people, when they pull up that open house, to be thinking, oh, there's some energy going on here. I know it seems a little silly. I get it. But at the same time, it is a differentiator that it's classy. It looks good. It's not cheesy. And if you don't want to do the balloons, at least get those. And you'll see this in our checklist. Those or our handout, those big flags are great as well. Creates more excitement, gets the energy going, right? Get the energy from people. Going to get the attention of everybody. And it's got great curb appeal, right? So we want to show up with good first impressions there. Now, music. This is so key. If you can bring a little speaker, or if you want to use the owners, so if you're borrowing the listing, try to get a speaker that you can bring that you connect to your phone. But if you don't, then just use the talk to and ask the owner if you want to use theirs. But have some soft music going on. And I've talked to agents where people start talking to them about the speaker, right? And that's what initiates the conversation. Who knew? Whatever. It doesn't really matter. But having some low music playing is a great way for people to come in. It's not this empty open house, even if it's beautifully staged and it looks great, having just a little bit of music helps. Why do you think every store you walk into has music playing, right? Gas stations, boutiques, department stores, like almost all stores have music, and there's a reason for it. Next one is scent and smell. And this is another one. Now, you're walking in the mall and all of a sudden you walk by Annie Ann's or whatever that is, right? That pretzel place. Oh, I hate it. It's so good. It's like, it kills me. Every so often I let myself go and I get a little bit, I always try to get like the smallest package available, right? And hopefully I'm with my son or somebody else, my daughter, my wife, so I can share with them. I want a couple of those bites of those little pretzel things. Yeah. But again, smell is another great idea that we want to consider. It could just be a candle, or it could be like a vanilla candle. We're not looking here for some bizarre, crazy smell. You can just get a couple of candles, right? So you can buy candles cheap, $5 to $7. You have it burning for a couple hours and bring a nice smell into that home. Again, not overpowering. It could be those other ideas. If you want to scan the QR code, and I do have a handout I will give to everybody, but you can scan the QR code for more ideas on that as well. And now here's the catered part. So food and drink. And again, we got ways of doing this for like $20 all the way to $200 to $500 to $1,000. So we're going to start small. We're going to keep our budget nice and easy. And I got options for you, but this is how you're going to get people to continue slowing down, to continue hanging out longer, to continue talking to you. And if you got a lender, maybe you can get them to help sponsor the food and drinks. But it's not going to be that much money. Again, I'm cheap. I love being cheap, but I love spending money as well. But I want to do it appropriately and strategically. Later on, I even thought about the idea that maybe you got a little local bakery. Probably in the beginning, you're not going to be able to talk them into giving it to you for cost if you help market their property. But as you get better, and if you're following our training, especially about doing short form videos with the charities and the nonprofits in your area, and you get better and you build up your audience, imagine you got an audience of like 7,000 followers in 6 months because you're doing all of this stuff consistently. And now you walk into that same little local cafe that you walked into before, And now you can say, hey, I'm doing some open houses this month, tend to do 5 or 6. This is about how much I will probably be spending based on what's happened the last few months. Is there a way that we can talk about getting like a wholesale deal, right, on a weekly basis? And I'll put something about how all of this food is from your bakery or your cafe. A lot of great ideas, but don't go down that rabbit hole in the beginning. It's just, I'd like you to have ideas that you can think about of what you're going to do on day 1 will be radically different from what happens on day 100 or day 200, or as in Dustin's case, the 6 weeks. So here's some great ideas that are cheap. All right. And I think the mixed nuts right here, I think you can buy like a 10-pound container at Walmart or Costco for like maybe 20 or 30 bucks. Just get the little plastic see-through cups, right? And dump. That's a lot of nuts for coming through my open house. But I'd fill it up like quarter size of the way up, right? Get a smallish cup so it doesn't look like I'm being cheap. But having mixed nuts would be a great kind of an inexpensive way to people to hang out a little bit longer and they're healthy. That's what I would pick up. Well, all the stuff on this page, if you had mixed nuts at your open house, that's what I would pick up. But Dustin does a food truck. Now, food trucks can cost, if you don't have enough traffic for them, for sure. And if you are just starting, you're not going to. But a food truck costs $500 to $1,000 to get them at your open house. Can you imagine how you're doing if you could afford and it made sense for you to spend $500 to bring a food truck at your open house? That, to me, that's just nuts, right? If you can imagine someday spending $500 to bring a food truck to your open house, and I know 90% of you are going to go, that's absolutely insane. What a waste of time and money. But it's not, because as you build this up and as you get your events dialed in, and as you're doing more of them consistently, and as the neighbors go, every time Scott Pierce does an open house, I just want to go and hang out, right? I just want to go and check it out because I know it's going to be, he's going to have a little bit of food there. He's going to have some drinks there. He's going to have, the handouts are going to be on point. It's going to smell great. It's going to sound great. It's going to be great. And you're able to build up and invest and get the return on investment. So again, you don't start out having a food truck on day 1, but you can definitely build up to that. And I know Dustin has done sushi open houses, right? Catered sushi from sushi restaurants. So he's gotten into where he's spending some money. But again, start slow, start easy, but being consistent. That's the key. Now on the day of the open house, you thought I was going to skip this, didn't you? All of you thought I was going to skip this. And I know it's 10:04. I apologize. I will be done here in about 2 minutes. Get the directional signs out the door, prep the open house. And again, this is all in your account. Make sure you prep the open house, get there early, right? Toilet seats down, drapes open a couple of windows if you need to, throw the messes under the bed. As people come through the open house, meet and greet. Introduce yourself with a good handshake and eye contact. Get them to recognize you as a professional. So don't be that person sitting there in the kitchen, and don't try to corner them with a bunch of questions at this point. A couple of icebreaker questions here. So you have access to this in your account. All right. So hand them the clipboard. Remember earlier we talked about that clipboard? We didn't forget about it. We're going to be using it. So here's a little script if you need it to get people to sign it. The sellers asked me to make sure that everybody signs in for security purposes. I'm sure you can understand and can appreciate. And what it's going to do, especially for the homeowners, the nearby neighbors, it's going to make them appreciate the fact that you care about who you're letting into their home. We're not going to block people unless it's that intense, but we're just showing people that we're paying attention, that we take this seriously until the seller is asked that we make sure everybody signs in. And then at the finish, because it's all about what is that final chapter, right? How does the story end? That's where we can just get that enjoyment, right? The success. So you got to plan the ending, right? We just don't want to wing it. So at the end, ask them if they'd like to rent an offer on the home. That is just an icebreaker that works. If you got something else, but when you ask that question, don't respond first. After a couple of seconds go by, the longer it goes to a point, the better, because they're thinking, they're like, oh, whatever it is. They're going to say no, most likely. Ask if they want to get to your VIP list. Remember we talked earlier about you're going to give them a list of, understand all the different homes for sale. You're going to understand all the homes that are pending and that have recently sold. And you're going to mention the fact that there are other homes that are going to be coming up soon for sale. And if you know of any pocket listings or maybe expireds or FSBOs, I wouldn't talk about them specifically then, but just you could say there are other properties off market that might be available to see if you're interested. And there we go. We got FSBOs, we got expireds, we got pocket listings, we got maybe listings coming soon that you know about from your office, right? When your office does the sales meetings that you never go to, where the agents talk about listings that are going to be coming up soon. So again, offer the other list of other open houses and nearby listings, specific home in the next week. And if they already have an agent, wish them well. If they are a neighbor or an owner, we're going to do what we did above. And then we got a few scripts right here. Somebody comes to, they say, well, we're just looking. Here's a great response to that. But it's always great to know what's on the market. What do you like or dislike about this home? And then just get into talking about adding them to your VIP list. If they're interested in the property, you can let them know. And if they don't have an agent, write an offer. Obviously, get your buyer's agreement. Uninterested, that's where you offer the VIP list. Open house follow-up. I tell you, actually, this could be one of the most powerful parts of this. When the open house is over, shoot a video. And you can also just write up in an email or social media post and give a quick review of the open house. I've got a post in the mastermind group. In fact, I'll give it to you here before we hang up or leave each other. But that post open house, this right here, in fact, there's even a little bit more that you can do where you talk about how we had 35 people that came through. 2 or 3 of the people love it. And I think they might be going back to the agent to talk about writing an offer. 7 or 8 of the other people that came through, they love the neighborhood. This house wasn't perfect for them, but they're still hoping to buy another home in the area. Doing that open house post summary is a phenomenal way, especially to get more listing leads. And the nearby homeowner letter after the open house with the same idea as a post open house summary to those neighbors is just so powerful. So here, the nearby homeowner letter, because in general marketing, it's all about how many times does the audience see your message, right? Visibility. Visibility trumps ability. You can be the best real estate agent in the world. If you're not visible enough times to the right people, you're going to get no business. And so the more times we can hit up these people, we can get in front of these people. And so using that post open house strategy is a phenomenal way to really get in front of these people more often with a great call to action and a great message. Again, take a look at this in your account, all the scripts. And if you want to scan that QR code, you can. Or again, you'll see this presentation in your account. So sorry to go long, everybody. I totally apologize. I should have kept a better eye on the time. Does anybody have any questions on any of this? And again, this entire presentation is under the training tab. So if you click on training, presentations, open house mastery right there. So if anybody needs that, just go ahead and access it there. And with that, thank you everybody for joining us. I'll let you go. Get in the mastermind group if you have any questions. And let's be real quick. Yes. Awesome. Cool. Thank you. Everybody have a great one. Talk to you soon.